We've been able to get Ian Mendez, got his headphones off, being rinkside, talking there to Jason Pominville. Now we put him in a studio. We've got him one-on-one. We get Ian to ask some questions to the Ottawa Senators general manager.
Joined now in studio by Senators General Manager Brian Murray, who's going to take some questions from you, the fans. Brian, first of all, thanks for doing this.
Oh, you're very welcome, Ian.
All right, let's get right to it. Our first question comes from Gordy, all the way in South Korea. His question for Brian is, how do you think the moves will affect other teams in the Eastern Conference? Will this open the floodgates for other GMs, and will Ottawa still be looking to make some moves?
Well, I definitely think there'll be some teams in the East make a move or two, and it might be triggered by this, but it may also have been something they planned. For us, I'd like to think that there might be one more out there. I don't know that there's a guarantee and there's a fit, but we definitely will investigate other possibilities.
Our next question comes from Jody in Stittsville, and the question for Brian is, yesterday's trade addressed several needs for the team but did not bring a bigger body to the forward position. Would you like more size up front, and is that a need you would like to see addressed at the deadline or in the offseason?
Well, very definitely. My philosophy has always been to have a little bigger team. I believe that, previous teams that I've been around, we indicated that. And likewise here, if we could find a guy that he has to be able to play, he has to be able to contribute. If that was the case and someone was available, I'd definitely do that. But going forward, we'll be looking, there's no question.
Our next question comes from Barry, who calls himself the biggest Sens fan in New Brunswick. The question for you, Brian, is, are you going to be signing either player, that would be Stillman or Commodore, to a contract for 2009, or is this purely a rental situation? Also, do you anticipate having any more trading partners in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I don't think there's any question if these two guys play close to what we think they're capable of playing, that we'll investigate re-signing them. I think they both want to play. They appear to want to play in Canada. We I think are one of the prime teams in this country, so I will be definitely thinking that way. But it depends on performance, I guess. As far as trading with other Eastern teams, I think we're all willing. I think both teams, in this case, would have some benefit. And I think in the future, if there was another team that was out of the playoffs and felt they wanted to move a player, we could do something for sure.
We got one last question for you, Brian. It comes from Phil in Canada, and it says, which prospects are looking like they will be pushing for a roster spot next year?
Well, I think the main guy we have, and we don't have a lot at this point in time, but Brian Lee looks like a legitimate candidate to play in the blue line for us next year. He's big and rangy and seems to have a good head and hands for the game. So I would look for him. First of all, Cody Bass, who we had a brief glimpse at as a kind of a role player checking guy, would be the other main candidate.
Brian, I know the folks at sportsnet.ca really appreciate this. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks, Ian. Appreciate it.
Well, let's see. We had an email from South Korea, New Brunswick, Stittsville, and Canada. It appears there are Senators fans everywhere. So we thank Brian Murray for doing that.